Hello friends, my name is Rasec Marc, and today we are going to be breaking down the session of Unwavering by Left Undecided. This is a session that was recorded in a less ideal environment. We were in a balcony that has a lot of open spaces, and you can hear dogs barking and cars honking every now and then. But despite all of the challenges and the hurdles that we were facing, we still wanted to continue through with the creation of this song for their release. And I am going to be showing you the moves that I have done to achieve this session, as opposed to a deep dive of the mixing. I feel like that's going to take a lot more time, and maybe I could do that on a different video. If you want me to do a deep dive of the mixing, please do let me know in the comment section. Alright, so here is our session. Let me show to you a section of the song.
Reveals his magnificence, so educates to understand. Behold, fear my son, the my son, we're incapable, yet comprehensible.
Okay, so what happened in the recording phase? We only had a Focusrite Scarlett that was connected straight to my laptop. All of the guitars and the bass were connected straight DI into the interface, and then we were just using amp sims. We were using the archetype Nolly for all of the guitars, and for the bass we were using Parallax. For the drums we were using MIDI, and the plugin that I was using were the Steven Slate drums. Alright, so here's the session. Basically what this session consists of are screams with its doubles, main vocals and its doubles. I have here some harmonies and some chants as well. And we have the lead guitars, some more lead guitars that I have processed differently. And then I would have the rhythm guitars that also has its own different parts that is processed differently. Synths, bass, and then the drums. And after the drums are all of the impacts, explosions, cymbal hits, risers, and that would be everything. And so here how it sounds like. Let me play to you the breakdown part. Okay, so now let me show you the drums really quick. Here are the drums. I have here the Steven Slate drums. So this track right here is the MIDI performance of the drums. What we did was we recorded all of the kick first, and then once we were happy with the kick, we would record the snares on top of that. And then after the snares, then we would deal with the crashes and the cymbals, and then work on the fills after. And when we were happy with the performance, I would actually go into the MIDI performance itself and go through each note and change all of the velocities and make it sound more humanly feel. And after I am happy with the performance, I would make all of these audio tracks, and I would route each of these drum parts to its own audio track. So for example, I have the kick direct, kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, and also the toms. I would route them all to its own out, and then just record all of the performance. And that's how I was able to have each of these parts in its own audio track. So let's take a listen. I have the kick direct. I have the kick in, kick out. You can't really hear it, it's more subby. This is the snare direct, snare top, and the snare bottom as well, and so on and so forth. Now, let me play to you the drums by itself. And so let me show to you how the drums sound like without the processing. And here's after. And I have all of these drum parts routed onto a drum bus right here, along with a parallel track and the snare plate. Alright, so after the drums, let me show to you a little bit of the impacts. Basically, I am using all of these impacts, the explosions, the risers, to emphasize the transition into the next section of the song, because there are going to be tempo changes that's going to be happening throughout the entire song, and using impacts and all of these other variations of explosions would give it more impact when it transitions from one section to another. So let me play to you an example. So I have this right here. And so if I am going to play the drums along with the explosions and impacts, okay, and so here we have the bass. Here's how the bass sounds like. So how I was able to achieve this is I have the DI bass performance right here, but here's a DI sound. And then I would use parallax for the bass. And when I am happy with the bass tone, I would then press right click and commit to the sound right here. And that's how I was able to come up with this track. And this is the track that I would then end up mixing. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the synths. For the choruses, I have a synth right here that is just giving some more body and layer to the choruses. It's basically following the root notes. And then also on the build right here. And that is to be layered with this lo-fi guitar sound right here. And on top of this would actually be a monologue right here. Here's how it sounds like.
The god in the form of a storm, he struck him into a trance, reveals his magnificence.
And how I was able to achieve this is actually my own voice speaking to the SM7B. Then got in the form of a storm. He struck him into a trance. And then I put a vocal synth to it. Then got in the form of a storm. He struck him into a trance. And then of course I would commit to the sound of it, which I would end up with this, and then I would do some more processing, and here's how I ended, and here's the final sound that we ended up with.
Then got in the form of a storm. He struck him into a trance. Reveals his magnificence. Too intricate to understand.
And then the breakdown would happen right there. So, moving on to the breakdown, I am going to show you the guitars. Here's how it sounds like before. And here's after. Basically, what I'm doing here for these two EQs are more for taking away the frequencies that I did not need for the electric guitars. And here's another one taking out the resonance right here. That happens for both of these guitars. And then both of these are routed then into its own guitar bus, where I would be doing some more EQ moves to give it more character. And here's what I ended up with. And then I have two guitar tracks right here that are more strummed. These are for the choruses. There is also a lead guitar right here that I have to make space for and consider when it comes to having both of them be mixed. And here's how that lead sounds like. So it is the lead sound is definitely occupying a lot of the frequency range, and I had to do a lot of sculpting for it to fit perfectly alongside with the other layers that I have here. Because on top of the strummed guitars and the lead guitars, there is also the vocals that I have to consider as well. And this lead guitar right here is routed to this lead effects that I have right here. Let me show you how it sounds like without it. And this is with the lead effects that I have. So what is going on with the lead effects is basically a pitch plugin that I have that would have a left and right channel, and I would have a detune a little bit on the left going into -9 cents, and also on the right is +9 cents. And that I would EQ it, and of course a stereo width, and that is what I am going to be layering with the original sound of the lead guitar.
And you will see the unwavering, taking everything, leading close to thee. Whereas the faith will bring, know that you're the unwavering.
Alright, so now let's move on to the vocals. Here I have the singing vocals on one track, and then I would have the screaming vocals on another different track, and they are treated differently. So here's how the vocals sound like without my processing.
Stricken down, blameless, faltered to his knees, testing the righteous one, and you will see the unwavering.
And here's how it sounds like after.
Unwavering. making everything hidden close to thee. Whereas the faith will bring. Know that you're the unwavering.
I used to be very intimidated when I would be mixing with my eyes. Basically, if I would see a meter as strong as this, like the attenuation meter right here, or the needle going crazy, I would be intimidated by those things, and I would think that I am overly processing things, or, like just doing wrong moves, basically. Like this.
Know that you're the unwavering.
But then over time, I would see a lot of pro mixers and pro producers do exactly the same thing. They would be boosting so much. They would be, even on the EQs, they would be boosting up to 12 dB, or even doing cuts up to 15 dB. And also for their compression as well, they would go all the way up to 10 decibels attenuation. And then so after seeing all of these pros make these huge moves, big boosts and huge cuts, I also did not want to be intimidated by the meters going crazy as well, and the attenuation meter as well. This would actually give me the freedom to make decisions more boldly and make bigger moves, even though visually it may seem like it's doing too much, Make big moves. Do not be scared of big moves. Make all of those big boosts and big cuts if you have to. And compress as much as you want. Don't be scared of the meters.
Know that you're the unwavering.
Alright, so now moving on to the scream vocals. Here's how it sounds like before.
The accusers doubted that you are the chosen one. No man withstands the power of temptation. Behold, Behemoth, Leviathan!
So I have here an EQ. I did a compressor first just to tame the levels a little bit more, and then I did some more processing, and then some harmonics to be followed with a de-esser. And then here, this one is an important thing for me. I did add a distortion. I have it on 58% mix and just a little bit of drive. What this does for me is it actually helps me bring some more energy to the screaming vocals, and it makes it cut through the mix even more. So here's how it sounds like before.
Behold, Behemoth, Leviathan!
And here's with it.
Behold, Behemoth, Leviathan!
And then to be followed by some more processing, I have fresh air, a limiter, some more EQs. Actually, this is a compressor, some more compression, and then another EQ move right here, and then a de-esser.
Behold, Behemoth, Leviathan! We're capable!
And so I am going to be playing the entire track from the build up to the breakdown, so be wary of your volume.
Reveals his magnificence, too intricate to understand.
Behold, Behemoth, Leviathan! We're capable! Yet comprehensible!
And so that is the production of Unwavering by Left Undecided. I really hope that you guys were able to get something out of this. I do enjoy sharing my process and the things that I have done to make a session like this. So if you want me to do a deep dive on the mixing part of this track, then please feel free to let me know in the comments. And so I'll catch you on the next video.